Hey, happy Thanksgiving week, everybody. Happy Monday. Well, actually, Tuesday. Tuesday if you're in the East. Okay. If you're in the West, it's 10:50. Spare the air day in the Bay Area. I hope your respiratory situation has been able to withstand the air there, but I digress. If you were in Southern California and you were fortunate enough to have a ticket to the LA Coliseum to witness the greatest game ever played, then it's a fair bet that your lungs are filled with a combination of fresh air, whatever little dirty air there was, and however air is mixed together when you've witnessed a context of that magnitude and it goes into your lungs, right? As Lovejoy just posted, great game. Greatest game ever played. And folks, I've seen a lot of them. I remember, wow, this game is right up there with Ghost to the Post, the visiting Oakland Raiders versus the Baltimore Colts in 1977 when Dave Casper caught the game winner in overtime to get the Raiders out of Baltimore with a win. That was an incredible game. Burt Jones was the quarterback. There was the 3 overtime contest that was just seemingly never ending between the Don Coryell coach San Diego Chargers and the Miami Dolphins coach by Don Shula's Dolphins. That was some say that was the greatest NFL game ever played. Others say it was the 1956 NFL Classic Championship, the NFL Championship, pitting the New York Giants versus the that was the Colts as well. No, the Philadelphia Eagles, excuse me. Yeah. And then others would say it was 1960s championship with Chuck Bednarik's Eagles. I mean, whatever game you can think of that you believe is the greatest NFL game, this game tonight was better than that game. Okay. Melvin Lovejoy says Atlanta versus Brady in the Super Bowl is his vote for the greatest game ever. And here's why I disagree, because that game was one of those contests that, to me, if I had to pick a candidate for a game that looked like it might have been fixed, okay, it was that contest. All right. I just have to say it because I'm thinking there's no way a team could be down 28-3 and lose. And that's precisely what the Falcons went on to do. And their history will be forever scarred by that contest until the Falcons come back and not just win a Super Bowl, but win one in blowout fashion. That's the only way the Falcons can recover from that ghastly mark on the history. That's exactly what it is. Okay. Sorry, Melvin Mojo. Melvin says, I hear you. All right. Dean Nez says, I think the Rams are going to lose to the Saints in playoffs. And Dean, I agree with you. Hey, Joseph Bisman. Joseph Bisman says, laugh out loud. Let's just say you were dumb if you picked the under for that game tonight. It was a guaranteed shootout fireworks game. And that gets me back to why I say this game was better than the Atlanta Brady game, because first of all, we expected a shootout. And even though the Falcons Patriots game was the 51st Super Bowl, we didn't expect a shootout. I mean, this game more than lived up to its billing by 3. Okay. I mean, look, you could have gotten away with maybe 35 all or 38-35 and been satisfied with it. But no, this thing went way beyond that. Okay, 40. All right, fine. The low 40s, but no, this went beyond that. It reached breathtakingly incredible, or dare I say unreal heights. Now, you could say well, it was just a defensive or a game where there wasn't any defense. And I would disagree with you because there were plenty of sacks. There are plenty of great defensive plays. There are a number of heroic defensive plays on both sides of for the Rams and for the Chiefs. Okay, there are a lot of almost heroic defensive plays. You could take subsets of that game and pick out parts that line up to just great moments. Professor B Media says, imagine if Patrick Mahomes or Jared Goff faced Bill Walsh, Joe Montana, or even Steve Young 49ers teams back in the 80s and the 90s. Well, I look at it this way, okay? Because you said Bill Walsh, Joe Montana, and you threw in Bill Walsh, but you didn't throw in either Sean McVay or Andy Reid. And I like both coaches. I particularly like Andy Reid's approach, so I was rooting for Reid. And I would say, well, how about throwing Andy Reid in there as sort of the modern Bill Walsh, right? Binsman says, somehow in fantasy football, the Rams defense got 21 points tonight and the Chiefs got 11. Very respectable fantasy totals for a shootout. Donald was a beast tonight. Who wouldn't pay that guy? Why? Like, hey, pass rush matters. The Rams prove that their 4 number ones on the line were worth the expense, and they demonstrated why, even though they're teams who like to build from within, build from the draft, start young, build up, not spend a lot of money on players. Hey, you know what? If you know who you're spending your money on, if you know how to evaluate who you're going to choose, and you're willing to pull the trigger on spending a lot of money for that player, you get what you deserve. And the Rams got true top-notch production. I mean, without question, that's exactly what came out of that. And Professor B Media says, exactly. I take Andy Reid, and this is coming from a 49ers fan. Right. And I don't see in this, if I had to crystal ball and evaluate this, I'm going to say something. Hey, Billy Blaze swears the Rams are a one-year wonder. But I'm going to say something that borrows from the idea that a team is who they are. And I think we're seeing that. We're seeing the Raiders as they are. This is the effort you're going to get from John Gruden, absent some dramatic change in approach. This is what you're going to get. And the question the Raiders have to ask is what they want going forward. Apparently the answer is yes, according to Mark Davis. Now, on the other hand, the state of the art in football is what we saw tonight in terms of offense. When you push downfield, and when you push downfield, it's not the play action fancy patterns of lore. It's timed throws, fly patterns down the field. Deep crossing routes are really a staple of the Chip Kelly offense. Chip Kelly really brought that approach to the NFL. And I call it the slashing offense. The slashing offense is where the quarterback fakes the handoff. The running back goes this way. Quarterback goes that way. Everything's a slash. It's this way, and then you're going to give that way. And you can either run this way, and you can throw it. I call it the slash flow. The Rams have an offense I call the slash flow. The best way to stop the slash flow is to slash flow your cornerbacks into blitz, slash flow your safeties into blitz, and slash flow screw that offense up. But I digress. Max Bird also throws in Bill Parcells and talking about misdirection. Now, let's talk about this game though. Okay, the NFL says here's the title: Rams outlast Chiefs in high-scoring instant classic. Okay, Rams win epic Monday night showdown. The Rams and Chiefs combined for 105 points Monday night. Yet it was the Rams defense which came up for the big win. Track every stat and highlight from Monday night here. And this was a game that originally was supposed to be played in Mexico, but by the grace of God, it wasn't. It was the game that Southern California, indeed California, needed. A true way of forgetting the horrible tragedies that have happened over the past few days, right? A contest 54-51 with the visiting Rams coming out on top. This is incredible. If you take a look at the scoring chart, all right, for the first quarter, they have the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then KC and LA, right? You have first 7 for KC, 13 for LA, second 16 for KC, 10 for LA, third 7 for KC, 17 for LA, and then fourth 21 for KC and 14 for LA. Okay. So basically, you would say, all right, if KC could have held LA to 14 instead of 17, this thing would have went to overtime, and who knows where it would have come out, right? But it didn't. It didn't. In terms of statistics, going down here and talking about that, Patrick Mahomes was 30. Get this. Listen to this. Just buckle up. 33 of 46, 418 yards. Excuse me, 478 yards. I mean, my brain couldn't believe what it was seeing, so it took the 7 and turned it into a 1. 478 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Okay. Kareem Hunt was 14 of 70. Patrick Mahomes had 6 carries for 28 yards. So Patrick Mahomes personally tacked on 506 yards. Woo! 506 yards of offense from one guy. Patrick Mahomes delivered 506 yards of total offense to the Chiefs. Wow. Tyreek Hill, 10 catches for 215 yards. Travis Kelce, 10 for 127. But Travis Kelce had a lot of drops. And I think if Travis Kelce caught 3 balls that he dropped or tipped, the outcome of this game, I argue, would have been even different on the side of the 9-2 Chiefs. Fumbles, Patrick Mahomes lost 2 fumbles, the other problem. Justin Houston lost 1. And D Ford lost forced fumble. Excuse me. Patrick Mahomes fumbled twice, lost 2. Justin Houston had a forced fumble, as did D Ford. Interceptions, the Chiefs didn't have any. So we go to the Rams, the winners, with just a click on this new setup. We have Jared Goff, go Bears, 31 of 49, 413 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. This is crazy, man. I mean, who doggy? You're talking about 800, well, almost 900 yards of passing between these two guys, right? So you've got, almost 900 yards of passing between them, 10 touchdowns. All the interceptions were from Mahomes. Todd Gurley, 12 for 55 yards. Wasn't much running here. Okay. Jared Goff, 4 of 6 yards. Brandon Cook, 1 of nothing. Receptions, Cooks had 8 for 107. Josh Reynolds had 6 for 80. Robert Woods, 4 for 72. Tyler Higbee, 6 for 63. Gerald Everett, 3 for 49. Tyler Gurley, 3 for 39. Kydro Hodge, 1 for 3. Jared Goff matched Patrick Mahomes in fumbles. He lost 2 times. This is, you just have a field day with in analyzing this game. You just, I mean, I don't believe there are enough superlatives for this contest. All right. Joseph Binsman says Hill is so fast, an absolute weapon. And then Binsman says Jared Goff is his fantasy quarterback and got him 35 fantasy points tonight, sealing his win for the week. Max Bird says Don Coryell would love this type of game. Don Coryell, somewhere, I think Don Coryell called for this game. You should say, who's Don Coryell? Don Coryell was coach of the San Diego Eagle Chargers and really ushered in, along with Doug Scoville of BYU, and Lavelle Edwards, much of and Sid Gilman before them, much of the modern passing game that is with us to this day. Sid Gilman, of using the entire width of the field and the formations to throw, then throwing deep past numbers. A lot of what you saw today could be tracked back to Sid Gilman. Coryell, Al Davis was an assistant coach for Sid Gilman. Don Coryell, I don't recall if Don Coryell was Don Coryell, Chargers, and Sid Gilman. Okay. Don Coryell. There is Sid Gilman. Okay. Don Coryell was the coach of San Diego State when Gilman. Here's I'm reading this tree here, this lineage. Okay. Sidney Gilman, American football player and executive. Gilman's insistence on stretching the football field by throwing deep downfield passes instead of short passes to running backs or wide receivers at the line of scrimmage was instrumental in making football into the modern game that it is today. And so trying to see his career stats. Let's see here. At influence. So here we go. Al Casal, Davis, Chuck Knoll, Bum Phillips, coaching tree, Sid Gilman. Sid Gilman is responsible for the following coaches: Al Davis, Chuck Knoll, Chuck Knox of the Rams, Dick Vermeil of the Eagles, George Allen of the Redskins, Don Coryell, and Joe Gibbs. That's his immediate influence, okay? Coryell was the head coach at San Diego State when Gilman was coaching the Chargers, and he would bring his team to the Chargers practices to watch how Gilman ran his practices. Coryell went on to coach in the NFL. I'm reading from the bio here. And some of his assistants influenced by the Gilman style included Joe Gibbs, Ernie Zampese, Cowboys offensive coordinator under Troy Aikman when the triplets are born. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin, Tom Bass, and Russell A. Malzahn. A larger, more extended version of Gilman's coaching tree, which in some ways could be called a forest, can be found here. Now I'm clicking on that, and that forest is indeed that. It's quite long. It is really a forest. I'm not even going to bother. It's huge. Okay, it is huge. It's expansive. It's expansive. It's Coryell, Gibbs. You have to throw in, which doesn't here do this. You have to throw in Bill Walsh. There's Dennis Green, Brian Billick, Jim Fosslin, Mike Tyson under Dennis Green. Mike Holmgren has a huge subtree that includes John Gruden, Dick Duran, Steve Mariucci, Marty Mornwig, Andy Reid, Ray Rhodes, Mike Sherman. Then you've got, and then John Harbaugh under Andy Reid, Brad Childress, and Steve Spagnuolo. And that's under Holmgren. And Bill Callahan. And then Mike Shanahan, George Seifert, and then Seifert begot Mike Shanahan, and Shanahan begot Takari Kubiak. And then Seifert, in turn, was connected to Bill Walsh. So Bill Walsh has his huge subtree, and under Al Davis. And Al Davis, in turn, was an assistant to Sid Gilman. So there you go. So you got Sid Gilman, Al Davis, Bill Walsh, right? And then branches from there and everything else, okay? So, but it all comes from Sid Gilman, including this approach that you saw, okay? So, RG1 says Rams Super Bowl. Max Bird says, yep. Wow. Corey says Rams versus Saints NFC Championship game. Let me ask you, Okay. If the NFC Championship game were against the Rams and the Saints, who do you think would win? And I'm going to say the Saints. What say you? I'll wait for your answers. Is there music with this? I'm not going to do the Jeopardy music, mainly because I don't feel like it, because my head is killing me a little bit. Lovejoy says two Saints. Lovejoy and G. Taylor say Saints. Okay. I say Saints. I'm going to write Saints. Max Bird says Saints. I'm writing when the Saints come marching in. Oh, when the Saints come marching in. Oh, I want to be in that number. Oh, when the Saints come marching in. Okay, so there's like, welcome to Zenny 62. You just walked in. NFC Championship game, Rams versus Saints. Who do you pick? I pick Saints. So far, we've got a clean Saints sweep. We only have 4 people who have responded out of 30. Binsman says, if the game is in New Orleans, Saints win. No one is beating the Saints there. Okay. Saints. But I mean, regardless, I don't care who it is. I don't care where it is. Home field advantage doesn't matter. Who wins? I pick the Saints home or away. Okay. I pick the Saints home or away. Okay. So let's see here. Anybody else? So far we got so that's how you wimps are. The rest of you would just choose to like okay. Billy Blade says don't overlook the Bears. Well, but that's not the question, Billy. Rams versus, because I got a method to my madness. Rams versus the Saints. Who wins? Billy, you tell me. Osmond Dias 714 says Saints. Drew Brees going for his possible second ring. Daynez says Saints. G. Taylor says my Thurston Howell's classic. Yes, money. Billy Blade says Saints. Okay, so you have Saints. Whereas Thurston Howell said when the Saints come marching in, darling. The Saints are coming to march in. We must be there. We simply must have front row seats. Yes. Kevin Jr. says Saints, Rams, a good team. Yeah. Kevin Jr. picks the Saints too. The Saints are just that's that running game, right? Because if you look at the stats tonight, the running game was there, but not major league effective. The passing games were just outlandishly impactful. The Saints, I think the running game would tack on an extra 20 yards at least. Professor B says Ernie Zampese, also the Rams offensive coordinator under both John Robinson and Chuck Knox. Then he replaced Norv Turner as Dallas. Yeah, he did. And I think nothing against – I thought, you know what, though? I thought Norv Turner replaced Zampese. And anyway, I'm not going to dig into that. I only say that because Zampese had that famous drive pattern. Billy Blade says, I think Jared Goff is more dependent on Todd Gurley than people realize. D-Net says by the playoffs. No, I disagree with that. Jared is, if you look, I went to Cal on the alumni board. I've seen Jared Goff at Cal many times. Seeing Jared Goff play within the Sonny Dykes coached offense made it so that the kind of passes I saw him throw tonight, I'm used to. I mean, the man threw so many passes that throwing passes of the type that he threw tonight is second nature to him. Jeff Fisher did not install an offense that got that out of him at all. And I still don't believe that we've seen, even with this contest, the best that Jared Goff can do. I don't. As G. Taylor just wrote, Goff is pinpoint. The Professor B. Meter says Turner replaced Richie Pettibone as Redskins head coach after the Cowboys won. Well, I know that. I tell you, hey, look, North Turner was the Raiders head coach at one point. All right, I was there. Billy Blade says that Jared Goff is not better than Carson Wentz, but guess what? They have the same agent. Osmond Diaz 714 says KC is 9-2. LA Chargers 7-3. Who wins the AFC West? Ooh, it's hard for me to pick against. It's hard for me to pick against the Chiefs in that scenario, as much as I like the defense of the Chargers. That's a tough one because that's a tough one. Billy Blade says Chargers are pretenders, but pretenders in what sense? They have a winning record. They're not what? They have a winning record. So what are they pretending to be? I don't get that. That's Billy Blade. That makes zero sense whatsoever. What are they pretending to be? So, what are they pretending to be? They're not pretending to be a good team. They are a good team. And I think, in fact, let's check something with respect to that. I just want to see where NFL defense rankings. Team total stats, ESPN. I hate the ESPN measure. But let's see here. Rushing defense. Defense total yards 3,000. Baltimore has yielded the fewest yards per game. So number one in terms of defense is Baltimore. Do you realize that Baltimore could be the dark horse here and bring a rookie quarterback into the Super Bowl? I'm just throwing that out there, okay? Let's see how the Ravens do with the Raiders. But look, as long as you have the number one defense and you're keeping it on the ground like they are, you're winning, you stand a chance to do some damage. A team like Baltimore is quite really designed and built to be a blunt force object for the kind of high-powered offense the Chiefs have. Just saying, all right? Now, Baltimore has the NFL's number one defense. They've given up just 300 yards a game. 205 passing, 94 yards, 94.6 yards rushing. That's it. Okay, here's the list. Baltimore, Buffalo, number 2. Chicago, number 3. Watch out for the Bears. Jacksonville, number 4. Minnesota, number 5. 6 is Pittsburgh. 7, Houston. 8, Dallas. 9, Tennessee. 10, the San Francisco 49ers. 11, Seattle. 12, Green Bay. 13, Carolina. 14, the LA Chargers. 15, the LA Rams. 16, the Washington Redskins. 17, this is defense, the New Orleans Saints. 18, the Arizona Cardinals. 19, the New York Jets. 20, the Detroit Lions. 21, the Indianapolis Colts. 22, the Denver Broncos. 23, Philadelphia Eagles. 24, New England Patriots. A sure sign they aren't going anywhere. 25, New York Giants. 26, Oakland, which explains a lot. 27, Miami. 28, Tampa Bay. 29, Atlanta. 30, Kansas City. 31, Cleveland. 32, bottom of the heap, Cincinnati, which is, it just may be the thing that costs Marvin Lewis's job. I hate to say it because I don't want that to happen because I like Marvin Lewis. Now, Pinzu says, thank God someone is talking about this. I'm not God, but I don't want to even play him on TV, but I thank you. Thank God, not me. You got it. God just directed me to talk about this. Now, the high-end dunk says the Rams would beat the Saints because it's difficult to beat a good team twice. And Billy Blade says they lost. Oh, in terms of the Billy Blade says Charger pretenders earlier. Expert shoots back saying the Chargers are not a paper tiger. I 1,000,000% agree with Mr. Bird. G. Taylor says Jared Goff is also tough. He got crushed at Cal and always bounced up, never complained. He got crushed because he got crushed on some dumb scheme calls. Sonny Dykes had this one particular set of plays that really bothered me where it called for a kind of a fake off-tackle run to the left, okay, with both the offside guard and tackle doing this, not even blocking the ends on their side, but actually pulling in this direction with the running back, okay, and leaving defenders to just have a clear shot at the quarterback. And the option was to allow the quarterback to keep it going this way and throw. No protection. All right, no protection. We played Utah the final year on Dyke's contract. No, the next to the final year. And Jared Goff almost had his head taken off on that play. And we should have beaten Utah. We really should have. Don't get me started about that. Anyway, but I digress. Hennessy says, New Orleans will win the Super Bowl this year. That's what he says. Billy Blade says they lost to Denver and should have lost to the Niners, talking about the Chargers. And yeah, I understand they lost to Denver. I understand that they're 7-3, but I am not ready to let go of the idea that, and this is because of their record, that the Chargers are not in a position to possibly take the AFC West if they want to. I'm not saying they will overcome the Chiefs, but I'm saying that they're the kind of organization that will make the adjustments and give the Chiefs a run for their money. You heard it here first, okay? Don't sleep on the Chargers because they lost to a Broncos team that made the right in-game adjustments. Let's give it to Van Joseph and his staff. They really did. Now, Osmond Dias 714 says Kansas City for first place bye week. LA has the fifth wild card. The high-end dunk writes, the Rams would beat the Saints because it's difficult to beat a good team twice. Joseph Binsman says Chiefs will still win the division. And actually, Billy Blade, Jared Goff has won a playoff game. I'd say he's better than Carson Wentz. He's right. Well, I don't know that. See, here's my problem with that. Carson plays in a different offense that is more adjustable on a per receiver route pattern basis per down. Okay, you can quite literally hear Carson's mind working, how he wants to adjust his patterns. He can do so in a pointless fashion. Jared Goff doesn't have that kind of flexibility with the Rams offense. It's a different system. I'm not saying that I like Carson's system better than the one that Jared works within. I'm not saying it's not effective. Obviously, it's very effective. But I'm saying that in terms of a pure quarterback that's really, really the best, in terms of a system that's really, really best for the quarterback, I picked the one that Carson's playing in from a passing standpoint, okay? There are a lot of the Eagles' problems are born of defense. Okay. Pazu, let's see here. Says Ravens have too much pride, yet so do the Raiders. I just hate how if the Raiders get a penalty against them, they have some sort of need to penalty back. I have never noticed that. That's interesting. Joseph Benson says, what a bummer of a year by Jacksonville. Thought they would be at least, what do you write? Thought they would at least a tough playoff team. Might still make it, but I doubt it. Max Bird. Billy Blade says, Chargers have a ton of talent, but something is missing, and that's why they're pretenders. Billy Blade says it might be killer instinct. Could be. Billy Blade, I'll take another look at that. All right. I see what you're saying, but I'm not entirely sold. I'm not ready to write them off. Okay. Dinez says Chargers are just broken even. Offense and defense, they're not really a playoff team, I think, but they have a playoff record. They have a playoff team level record at this point. I mean, what it sounds like to me, some of you are ready to do is send the Chargers on a losing streak that they haven't even embarked on yet. Okay. I mean, they beat the Raiders. Dinez, Jack Bauer. Jack says, wait a minute. Whoa, stop the press. Jack was at the Rams game. Jack, man, I wish you'd send pictures or something. A video. What was it like to be at the greatest NFL game in history? Just asking, man. Jack says a lot of Raider fans were there. Ooh. Billy Blaze says golf has not won a playoff game. Unknown Raider guy says Patriots versus Rams or Saints Super Bowl. Pats win again. Brady retires and unlocks the AFC. Joseph Benjamin says, you're right, Billy Blade, but laugh out loud, forgot they lost the game. Yeah, they did lose the game. They did lose the game. I'm just not ready to write them off after the loss, unlike Billy Blade. Okay. All right, that's the difference. All right. Joseph Benjamin says, wow, keep that ticket, Jack Bauer. Yeah, keep that ticket, man. That ticket's money. Or as Thurston Howell would say, that ticket is worth money. Son, I'll give you anything for it. I've got coconuts. I stored up coconuts on the island. Call me. I've got a coconut wire. Let's talk. I'll give you anything. I want that ticket. I want that money. I've got money, son. Money. I'm Thurston Howell. Money. Anyway, I got to perfect my technique on that one. Anyway, just thinking. I wonder what he sounds like if I do that. I've got to find a clip where I can hear Thurston Howell and see if I've got his voice quite right here. Yeah, I'll do that real quick. Let's see if I can dig that one up. Let's see here. Thurston Howell. Thurston Howell. If you're wondering, this guy was Jim Backus. His spouse was Eunice Lovey Wentworth Howell. First appearance, Marooned, Gilligan's Island Plot, 1963, created by Sherwood Schwartz. And a bunch of images of him like this, and all that, all that. And then videos, okay? Thurston Howell, YouTube, and then he's in jail. Yeah, let's send it. This is my favorite one. This is Thurston Howell. This one is Thurston Howell describing how to make the perfect martini.
After all, you're a man of ethics.
Hold on a second. Yeah, here. Thurston Howell III describes how to make the perfect martini. Listen to this, okay? All right. This is.
And now for the vermouth.
Vermouth, yes. Yeah. Let's try that again.
For the ideal martini, it must be 15 parts. There we are. And now for the vermouth.
Let's see. The whole point is you have to talk with a lockjaw. So in those days, the idea was that a person who was wealthy talked with a lockjaw. You had something going on with the lockjaw, and you enunciated that way.
It must be 15 parts. There we are.
So that's what he sounded like. Okay. Or here's another one. Okay. This is Thurston Howell III for president. President. He's in jail. He's in jail.
Lovey, I've been framed. I'll appeal. I'll take it to the Supreme Court. I'll go even higher. Rules Committee of the Newport Country Club.
So you get the idea. The whole point is to talk with a lockjaw. The Rules Committee of the Newport Country Club. Yes. And always to keep it was like you're trying to it's like you're eating a prune or something. Anyway, okay, now onward. All right. Osmond Dias 714 says, "Don't sleep on the Steelers." Max Bird says, "Steelers Saints December 23rd, New Orleans." Inez says, "Max Bird, that should be a good game. It should be." In fact, let's see what here is. What sloth forward? Hey, while we're talking about this, let's talk about the games for next week. Just a preliminary, kind of a view of what's happening next, right? So we have week 11. The bye week consists of the Bills, the Browns, the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Jets, and the 49ers. And so, excuse me here. Wait. That was this week we just came from. Okay. All right. Now, we have Thursday, Thanksgiving. Okay. So this is what we have. We have the Bears and the Lions. The Bears at the Lions. The Redskins at the Cowboys. And the Falcons at the Saints. Ooh. Falcons at Saints, all right. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and predict that the Falcons walk in and clobber the Saints. With all their injuries. Let me think about that one. Yeah. With all their injuries, I really believe that's going to happen because it's Thursday. It's Thanksgiving. It's a road game. And it's the Falcons and the Saints. And that game just seems to bring out the worst in the Falcons. I mean, in a good way. In fact, I wonder what the series is. Falcons-Saints series. Let me see something here. Falcons v. Saints series. Falcons-Saints series. Falcons-Saints rivalry. There have been 99 meetings. Atlanta leads 52-47. So there we go. The longest win streak, the current win streak is New Orleans with 2. The longest win streak, Atlanta had won 10 between 95. Atlanta had won 10 games, 95 to 99. New Orleans won 6 between 86 and 89. So, right now, it would seem to lean toward New Orleans. I just have this feeling. And sometimes the feeling is all that we have to go on, right? All right. Then we get into next Sunday. We've got the Browns versus at the Bengals. And I have a feeling the Browns. I'm gonna pick the Bengals on that one. Bucks at the 49ers at the Buccaneers. Wait a minute. Let me see something here. 49ers at Bucks. Jameis Winston starting for Is Jameis Winston starting? Yeah. Jameis Winston's going to start. So I'm picking the Bucks to beat the Niners. Yeah. And Tampa Bay Times says the buck stops here. Leave Jameis Winston in permanently. I agree. Now, did you know that if Jameis Winston gets injured, he gets $21 million? All right. I saw in the NFL Network the other day, and Deion Sanders was joking that actually wasn't Deion Sanders. It was LaDainian Tomlinson who was joking that he should just beat his knee and collect $21 million. Oh, that's hilarious. Let me get your comments here. So I'm not off the track. Yeah. Binsman says that, Billy Blade says the Cowboys will crush the Skins on Turkey Day. Thanksgiving Day's games are good. Yes, they are. And Joseph Binsman does not want the Giants stat. He wants the Giants. He said the Giants need the Redskins to win. Billy Blade says no Alex Smith. He's right. Binsman says, I can't trust the Falcons after the last 2 losses, and the Saints want to answer the Rams after tonight. Great point. I think the Falcons show up, but the Saints still take it. Joseph Binsman says, and there was no Alex Smith. Are you saying that the Falcons will not play for just the pride of wanting to beat the snot out of the Saints in New Orleans on Thanksgiving Day? I'm just saying. That game, I'm sorry, that game has a certain aura about it. Joseph Binsman says, and it was no Alex Smith when the Titans went to Dallas and beat the Cowboys, also, Billy. Binsman says, don't underestimate divisional games. Billy Blade says, true. But who is the quarterback for the Skins? Well, let's find out. Washington Redskins. Let's see here. In news, let you know in a jiffy. Colt McCoy. Redskins, Colt McCoy. And Colt McCoy is no slouch. He is an experienced player in Jay Gruden's system, so I would not turn my back on the Washington Redskins. I would not count them out with just because Colt McCoy is at quarterback. He's a capable, Colt McCoy, is a capable backup. Binsman says if it's Colt McCoy, he has won a Thanksgiving game in Dallas before, I believe. You're correct. Whoever it is, it's still a division rival game. It will be close. Lee Blade says maybe so. Joseph Binsman says, I even give the Lions a dart's throw at beating the Bears. Why not? Why not? Since we're all doing that. Hey, folks, I have to be candid. I have kind of a raging headache. And so because this has been the folks, my stepdad is here. And we've been getting ready for him. And now he's here. We're all watching the football game, have a great time, eating great food and all that. And it's not even Thanksgiving Day yet. But as a result, because I've been helping mom get ready on top of working, my head is, it has this weird feeling which can only be connected to the fact that I'm exhausted. Okay. All right. So I will be back tomorrow after I've gotten rest, a special 11 o'clock / 8 o'clock Pacific show featuring Paul Cobb. You would say, who's Paul Cobb? Paul Cobb is the publisher of the Oakland Post. The Oakland Post is the first and only Black newspaper publication in Oakland. So we're going to talk about all kinds of things. We're going to talk about not just why the mayor won, but a lot of inside political stuff that you may be interested in. The Raiders lawsuit from his point of view, the Raiders issue. We're just going to talk Oakland, man. Okay, so if you want to dive into Oakland politics, with a occasional segue into sports, although that's not really Paul's bailiwick, okay, but it's mine, as you know. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock Pacific, which happens to be 11 o'clock in the East, okay? Yeah. Joseph Binsman says, I hope it wasn't one of Ivanka's emails that gave me a headache. I would never get a headache from anything Ivanka Trump does. I happen to like Ivanka Trump, okay? That doesn't mean I like her politics. That doesn't mean I like what her ethics appear to be. I don't know what they are. But, well, there you go. All right, now. Billy Blade does not trust Trubisky. I think Mitch Trubisky is as good as Matt Nagy's offense allows him to be. Okay, there you are. There you are. All right. So, well, I'm going to sign off first because really I'm right about here. It's maybe if I just did this, maybe, you know what, that helps. But still, I need water. All right. Good night, everybody. And I'll see you later in the weekend. Thanks for stopping by and having some fun. I'll see you later.